Hi, this is Tom Johnson, and I am your Dean of Distance Education at Grace College of Divinity. It's a delight to be with you today. I appreciate you joining us in this first ever online virtual faculty meeting, and so delighted that you are. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. I pray that it'll be helpful and encouraging and help build a rapport between the two of us. I want you to know that I'm here to serve you and to serve Grace College of Divinity and our student body as it grows. I am so excited to be a part of this dream, which has now become a reality. In fact, I remember when in the very early days when we first began this ministry, and I don't have time to talk about that now, but we've come a long, long way. I just returned from Romania, and while I was in Romania, I had the privilege of teaching for several weeks in one of our schools there, one of our courses that we offer with Grace College of Divinity there, a School of Worship, and myself and Wayne Tate and a few others that were engaged and involved there. We've been doing this now for 8 years and graduated probably 100 students or more. Dozens and dozens of songs have been written out of the worship school. It has raised the level of worship in Romania in a tremendous way. I tell you that because I want you to understand that Grace College of Divinity, our online campus, it is a global campus, and you are a global professor. You have a global classroom. You will not even know where some of your students come from. We have students right now. While I was in Romania, in fact, I officiated the graduation for two of our students, two of our bachelor degree students in Baia Mare, Romania. They pastor a church, wonderful fast-growing church there, and they were so excited to finish. They had 3 years they spent finishing their degree with us, and they are tremendous men of God with families that love Jesus. While I was there, I met with students. We have students in Italy, in Germany. We have several other students now in Romania. Students that are interested in taking our courses in Ireland. I teach seminars and different things in China, in Sri Lanka, in Africa, and have students that are trying to pass get their second English as a second language certification so they can come on board. They want to learn. They have grown to love us, to understand us, to know us, to trust us. And so they want to be a part of Grace College of Divinity. And so I want you to know that your student base is growing, and you just never know who's going to be a part. We have students from Korea, of course, here in the States, but also soon we'll have students in Korea as well. It's just amazing the opportunity that we have that God's given us. Any given day, any given course, you may have students from California. This is a reality right now, enrolled from Washington State all the way over to Boston, Massachusetts, into the middle of the heartland of the nation, West Virginia, Tennessee, down to South Florida, over to California. I'm telling you, you need to understand that your ministry with Grace College of Divinity online is a global ministry, and your classroom is a global classroom. This is a dream that has become a reality, and we're training leaders around the world. Let me tell you just for a moment why I'm so excited about GCD and about our online department, and why I'm so committed not only to being a professor for the online department and honored to be the dean of this department, but why I'm committed to our future and seeing it develop, seeing it improve and grow. First of all, God called me into the ministry at the age of 10. I won't go into that testimony, but it was significant at that moment, and really began to manifest when I was 17, 18, 19 years of age. And by the time I was 19, I began a small home fellowship where I was pastoring 24, 25, 30 high school students that I'd led to the Lord and was discipling them. And we were having Wednesday night and Thursday night church. We didn't know what house church was back then. We didn't have a concept of cell churches. This was back in the 80s, early 80s. And we didn't have those understandings back then. But I was definitely doing that. I had gone to Bible college, and God had moved supernaturally. And I left Bible college early to start the ministry that God had called me to, with the blessing of the school and covering of the school. Later, I met my wife, Julie, and at the age of 23, we married. And at the age of 24, we planted our first church there in Weldon, Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina, Emmanuel Worship Center, now Valley Community Church, wonderful, life-giving church for the Valley. Later, and just a few years later, we planted a second church and a third church, and even churches overseas. And God was blessing, and I knew at some point I always wanted to go back to school. I continued to try, but I found myself so busy, so preoccupied, and I just couldn't find the time, the energy, quite honestly, I couldn't find the commitment to go back to school. I needed to and I wanted to. I was a bit prideful. I was a bit naive, thinking I could just do it all on anointing and learn it all by myself. Of course, I had some wonderful mentors and teachers and those that spoke into my life, Jerry Daly and Michael Fletcher and Michael Cotton and others, so helpful to me. But there was many things that I needed to learn. There were many things I needed to learn that I had not yet garnered. And so by the time my wife and family and I were in Romania in 2004, we were overseeing churches there. We developed a missions training school, developed 3 leadership training schools. And in that process of training leaders, and soon pastors were coming out of there, God began to speak to my heart and to my wife about the need for returning to school ourselves and getting a formal education. And the reason for that was clear to us, that God had called us to influence leaders and to do more than we were doing, and we needed more training for that purpose. Well, when I felt that, I didn't know what to do, and I shared it with Dr. Crowther, and he opened a door and enabled me to begin studying while in Romania. I was a long-distance education student at that time, one of the first probably in that kind of a setting. And every time I'd come back to the States for a conference, I'd leave with textbooks and DVDs. I'd had 50 pounds of student studies to do, and it was tremendous. I really was blessed and encouraged and helped by that time. It built within me a real sense of what God wanted to do. And it also served to clarify and to solidify my own personal theological foundations. It enabled me to speak with more confidence and boldness. It helped me to develop the skills and disciplines that I would need to be successful both as a student and as a leader. And finally, it gave me the confidence that I could do whatever God called me to do. And I'd already done a lot, but there was still more in my heart, and there is today, more vision, more passion to train leaders around the world. Grace College of Divinity, their online department, really helped me to prepare and to go forward. We returned to the United States in 2009, and I walked across the stage almost 50 years old before I received my bachelor's degree. But I'll tell you, I valued it, I treasured it, and it was a tremendous blessing to my heart then and now. It gave me the confidence and the vision to go further. Very soon after graduation, I enrolled in Liberty University and completed a master's degree in Christian leadership development, followed by a Master's of Divinity in professional ministries. I'm now enrolled in, or have been accepted in 2 doctorate programs, which I'm praying which direction to go. I've got several things on my heart, and I'm asking God for clarity and direction. But I know that it has to do with online education, and I know it has to do with developing leaders around the world. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm talking to you. You're a vital link. As a professor or administrator, you're a vital link in what God is doing, not only in Fayetteville or in Louisiana or Southern Pines or one of the other sites that we work with, but you're vital to what God's doing in Eastern Europe, raising up, new life-giving churches with a new theological understanding, a deep confidence in the grace of God, and a passion for the worship and presence. And you're a part of training leaders in Italy and other places that God has given us inroads to, and it's just going to expand as we get better at doing what we're doing. And so I want to thank you for being a part of this, and I want to encourage you to contact me if you have any questions or need any help in any area, designing courses or Moodle or anything else. You can contact me at tjohnson@gcd.edu, and I'll be happy to get back with you to give you a hand in whatever way I can, answer any questions I might need to. What I also want to do is help you with a little bit of administration issues that we need to talk about. You've already heard from Justin and probably others about taking attendance and class participation, and I just want to underscore that for you and remind you that it's not only school policy. It's part of your job. That is part of your job as a professor, but it's also a legal requirement for us. We receive funding from the VA. We receive funding from federal funding for students, and they require that we report on our students' activities. And so it's part of our responsibility. We have a legal responsibility to do that. So what constitutes attendance in a virtual classroom? First of all, engagement in the course with the professor, engagement with classmates. What do I mean by that? Well, it includes direct communication between you and your student. In other words, you're writing to your student an email, they're responding to you, they're writing discussion, answering discussion threads where they're posting their thoughts on a particular subject that you've posed for them, and their classmates have an opportunity to enter that discussion, that forum, and share ideas. That is very important also that you also interact with them, not every single time, but listen, you cannot just, you can't be a sideline coach here. You're going to have to be involved in answering questions and prompting them to go a little further and giving them the attaboys they need, helping them to build confidence, helping them to correct areas of misunderstanding or even in formatting and those kind of things. Any kind of response that they have to make that you've given them, that constitutes their participation. Their reading, the reading assignments that they have to submit, submitting a completed online assignment on time. There's a report module in Moodle just under the participant list that will let you know how much time your students have spent in a particular course, in a particular week of the course, any portion of the module. They may have spent 2 minutes watching the 12-minute video. Well, that probably tells you they didn't watch it. So, these are the kind of things we need you to look at. I know that may sound a little big brotherish, like you're looking over their shoulder. It only takes a few minutes, but it really, really helps, and it'll help you to engage your student. I had one student several semesters ago that really was doing very well, had a lot of potential, showed a lot of promise, was deeply engaged with the other students, and then suddenly just went off the grid. And after a week or two, I contacted him and said, hey, what's going on? I mean, you haven't responded to discussion boards. You're not responding to others' texts. What's going on? I found out his wife had left him, and he was in a world of pain and needed someone to talk with him. He felt like his world was over. He had lost all hope. He was depressed, discouraged, felt like he just had dropped out of school. I mean, why should he be studying to be a pastor when his marriage had tanked? And so we spent time talking and praying and ministering to him and helping him get back on track. Soon, God moved and restored his marriage, and what a wonderful, wonderful thing that was. But as a professor, I'm not just there to do an academic download. I'm also there to engage in character development. It's true, I'm not their pastor and I'm not their marriage counselor, but I am often the first line of defense. I'm going to find out things that are going on in them perhaps when no one else will. And I have the privilege and responsibility to engage them deeply and help shepherd them through. Because, when you show kindness and compassion and concern as a professor, you're doing more than teaching academics now. You're actually teaching them what it means to be an effective minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And the things that you model will be the very things that they take into their life and ministry. Truth is, they could watch YouTubes all day long and get what we give them in some ways. But they cannot get the care for their soul. They'll never have someone that builds into the character and speaks into their lives like you will. And that's why your job is so important. So engage with your students, write them, help them, challenge them, encourage them. Give them the confidence to succeed, even if they feel, and maybe it's a reality, that they're just tanking, they're failing. Help them to know that they can make it, and you're there to help them do that. Listen, as a professor myself, I'm here to serve you. If there's something I can do to aid you or your students, please let me know. Thank you for taking time to watch this short video. There'll be others coming in the future. We have other exciting things to share with you. God bless you, and thanks again for being part of the greatest college, this dream, Grace College of Divinity, in our global campus. God bless you.